At a welcome dinner held at Mambo Point Restaurant in Monrovia, the outgoing national coordinator of Liberia, who recently resigned his post to assume duty as EITI Regional Director for Anglophone countries, Samson Tokpa, congratulated Sierra Leone for achieving compliance. He thanked the MSG and the government of Sierra Leone for putting on a good fight to ensure that the country achieved this status, which he noted is key to the EITI process. Mr. Tokpa also appreciated the visiting team for choosing Liberia to acquire knowledge on how to better implement the EITI. He pointed out that the LEITI team will also learn from SLEITI and hope that the sessions will be useful for both countries to move forward with the process. At the House of Representatives, the Liberian Speaker, Honorable Alex Tyler, welcomed the SLEITI team to Liberia and specifically to the Capitol building, which hosts the House of Representatives and the Senate. He informed the visiting team that the establishment of LEITI was challenged with lots of hurdles at its initial stage because many questioned the motive for the initiative. But as a government that are concerned for its people and is committed to reforms, they saw it necessary to embrace the EITI. The Speaker pointed out that the enactment of the LEITI Act is the 52nd legislature in Liberia to ensure that there is a separate body to monitor and evaluate all payments and revenues by companies and governments in order to ensure compliance with the LEITI law. He maintained that since the establishment of LEITI, the team has enjoyed the autonomy entrusted to them, and they have lived up to the task by reporting regularly and is contributing to wider reforms. The House of Representative member, Honorable Richard Mogboy, who sits on the Committee of Mines, said the issue of transparency in the extractive sector is key, as there is no way a country can have a resource title without being industrialized. Honorable Tingba pointed out that the ultimate utilization of our resources is pivotal to national development. With this, he added that the country needs to establish a framework to ensure transparency and accountability. He went on to say that this was the basis on which LEITI was established and that they are pleased with LEITI's outputs as they have not only ensured compliance with the EITI but also influenced policy decisions that have contributed greatly to wider reforms in Liberia. The nation, he concluded, is still considered as underdeveloped and that they rely greatly on the extractive sector to contribute immensely to the country's GDP. At the office of the Senate President of Liberia, Senator Pro Tempore Benzonga Findley, who is also the International EITI Africa Region 1 representative, said the core objective of the initiative is to track revenues, and in tracking these revenues, it should be made clear to the general public. The process, he said, is crucial and is filled with pressure from every corner, and that its tripartite arrangement made it unique. The Senate Pro Tempore said that with the new EITI standard, the Liberian government is expecting LEITI to be producing reports that will attract investors. He advised the SLEITI delegation to hastily legislate the EITI in Sierra Leone to ensure its independence and also to enable the initiative derive its maximum benefit. The senator encouraged the government of Sierra Leone to place more importance on the EITI and ensure that every constituent is represented by law on the MSG. The former head of LEITI Secretariat, Samson Tokpa, said their secretariat is an autonomous entity comprising 3 departments and 12 staffs with oversight provided by the multi-stakeholder group through their subcommittees on reports and communication, finance and administration, and procurement. He said the role of LEITI Secretariat is to implement the decisions of the MSG and to ensure that these decisions contribute to wider reforms in Liberia. In the area of post-validation, Mr. Tokpa said the EITI must be legislated in Sierra Leone, as this will give the SLEITI Secretariat the free hand to operate and to effectively implement the new EITI standards without hindrance. He encouraged the SLEITI team to be more proactive and be committed to moving the EITI process forward. In a presentation, the acting head of Secretariat, Maida Madam Horace, gave participants an understanding of the current structure of the Secretariat and the proposed structure as contained in the draft SLEITI bill. Madam Horace indicated that although the Secretariat is understaffed at the moment, she looked forward to a fully staffed office to effectively carry out the duties of the Secretariat. She, however, mentioned that in the midst of such a challenge and with the support from government and the multi-stakeholder group, Sierra Leone was able to achieve compliance. Presenting his strategies on how to communicate the EITI, the LEITI Communications Officer, Samson Warner, said LEITI has used different channels like jingles, face-to-face meetings, billboard, newsletters, social media, and a network of journalists who have been trained to report on the extractive sector. The most effective tool of communication that has gained momentum in Liberia is the establishment of the Extractive Club, which has given the younger generation a platform to not only discuss issues on EITI, but also issues bordering on concessions, CSR, and taxes. The SLEITI Communications Officer, Josephine Saidu Conte, highlighted the achievements despite the numerous financial challenges she is faced with in implementing the communication strategy. She has embarked on a series of communication activities, among which include radio discussions, jingles, billboard, posters, carrier bags, t-shirts, banners, and most innovative was the SLEITI song, which has gained international recognition. Mrs. Saidu Conte pointed out that the communication strategy requires urgent financial attention and looked forward to an improved budgetary support, especially from the government coffers. She maintained that if the EITI is to be sustainable, the communication strategy should have its own restricted funds to support its activities, just like Liberia. Other areas discussed were procurement, reporting, technical, finance, and administration. During sessions, participants discussed the implementation challenges and the strategies to enhance EITI implementation in Sierra Leone. It was noted that some of the current weaknesses in the system could be attributed to the lack of EITI law in Sierra Leone. LEITI encouraged the delegation to hasten the process of passing the current SLEITI bill into law to enable the Secretariat become an independent body. During the study tour, the delegates visited Sam Darby Plantation in Bome County. LEITI informed the SLEITI team that the agriculture sector was included in the scope of EITI reporting as a way of introducing good governance in the agriculture sector. In his presentation, the Sam Darby manager, Mr. Roslin, said the project is less than 4 years old, but has embarked on massive infrastructural projects in the communities they operate. The group was enlightened that the company has so far invested approximately $5 million to maintain a labor force of 3,000 staff, construction of schools, clinics, and recreational facilities with a free of charge service for all workers and the entire communities. The Sierra Leonean delegation was very impressed and encouraged the management of Sam Darby to invest in Sierra Leone. Another impressive mark LEITI has made is the establishment of the extractive clubs in 15 secondary schools. The aim of the initiative, according to the acting head of Secretariat, Kona Kamo, is to get a full and effective cooperation of the younger generation in disseminating the information on the EITI. He said with support from GIZ, the E-Club has been remarkable in transmitting information on the process, and with the engagement of the youths, LEITI has gone far ahead in getting them to understand the pros and cons in the extractive sector. In the EITI family, Liberia and Nigeria have been earmarked as the model countries that have autonomy in the implementation process. Other implementing countries have been encouraged to emulate these models set by these two countries if they intend to build institutions from the implementation process and contribute to wider reforms, not only in the extractive sector, but as a country as a whole. The team is expected to present their report and recommendation to the entire membership of SLEITI multi-stakeholder group in their upcoming MSC meeting.